On July 4th, 2025, President Donald Trump signed what he calls the Big Beautiful Bill into law, touting it as a historic victory for America. But is it the game changer he claims, or a divisive move with hidden costs? Let's dive into the story.
In a few moments, we're going to make official the greatest victory yet when I sign the one big, beautiful bill.
South Lawn. He is about to head downstairs to the South Lawn where he's going to sign his big, beautiful bill.
Mr. President, this is the gavel we use to enact the big, beautiful bill, and I want you to have that for your
Are we ready?
Gavel us in.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Trump hailed the bill as a massive win, packed with tax cuts, no taxes on tips or overtime, and a bolstered military. But critics, like those on MSNBC, argue it's a different story for everyday Americans.
Office, he calls it beautiful. The American people don't seem to agree. A bill that is so wildly unpopular, it screws many of the people who voted for Trump. And still, no one could really muster like a good actual affirmative account for it. It's going to cut Medicaid, as it cut taxes for the rich. It's going to cut food aid, like SNAP, while it throws billions of dollars at the Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement. It's bad all around. It repeals all sorts of energy provisions that are key to the success we've had in building up the energy future. And because Donald Trump generally does actually have pretty good instincts on how to market things, the lipstick they've slapped on this pig is kind of funny. It ends up being the things that he came up with on the fly during the campaign. Remember, there was that sort of period of time where he was doing like, you get a tax cut, you get a tax cut. Things that are, by the way, temporary and extremely limited. For example, the big one that he keeps talking about is no tax on tips. And that does sound kind of populist, although do we want to incentivize tips? No. But that's limited to a maximum deduction of $25,000 a year. And it abruptly cuts off at the end of 2028, just before Trump's term is over. It's a similar story with the no tax on overtime, which is capped at $12,500 a year. It also ends just 3.5 years from now. Meanwhile, you might be asking, well, I wonder if they're all temporary provisions in this bill. No, my dear. The New York Times points out the bill provides its most generous tax breaks early on and reserves some of its most painful benefit cuts until after the 2026 midterm elections. For example, the Medicaid work requirements that are going to kick a lot of people off Medicaid start in 2027. The cuts to Medicaid and food assistance are set to start in 2028, right as tips and overtime start getting taxed again. A lot of people, as much as 20 million people could lose their health care, up to 7 million people could lose their food assistance, including 2 million children. Signing today, an event that would normally be all about the actual landmark legislation he's signing, he basically said, look over there, making news by inviting the bomber pilots who conducted the strikes on Iran rather than having the main focus be on the big bill. I should tell you, it's unclear if those pilots were even able to attend due to security concerns. There was a flyover by a B-2 bomber and airmen from Whiteman Air Force Base. Those families were in attendance. Again, all this is happening because Donald Trump and the Republican Party know that the less people pay attention to the actual bill, the better it is.
The bill's tax breaks, like no tax on tips, are capped and temporary, expiring by 2028. Meanwhile, cuts to Medicaid and food assistance could hit millions, time to kick in after the 2026 midterms. So, why push such a polarizing bill? The Big Beautiful Bill is now law, celebrated by some as a bold economic and security boost, but decried by others as a betrayal of Trump's own voters. With its impacts delayed, only time will tell if this is a golden age or a costly misstep. What do you think? Comment below, and thanks for watching. Hit subscribe for more deep dives.